Hey, this is why you should delete the word should from your vocabulary forever. Forever. You're frustrated, you're disappointed, and you feel like you're stuck because you've always focused on what you should have, you know, because you don't get the help, you don't get the love, and you don't get the respect that you think you should have. Then that's why you're here today. I'm here to help. I'm going to show you how you can either want what you think that you should have, you could get what you should have, or you could get more of what you want. Stay here until the end, and I'll tell you one small step that you can do to help you transition to that person who can get more of what they want. And you need to, I was going to say should, you need to stay right here to the end because I'm telling you what I'm about to tell you. It is so easy and it is the key that you're looking for. The word should is a bad word. And I say it's a bad word because it's a word based on assumptions, and it's based on the fact that you might feel a little bit entitled depending on how you're applying the word should. Okay, let me give you some examples. Well, first of all, I want to make sure that the should that I'm talking about is the should that you ascribe to other people. Like they should know, or, they should see what I'm doing, or they should know what I need. You know what? That's bad thinking. Number one, because no one is responsible for you but you. And I'm talking to good and grown women like me. I mean, my whole aim is to show you how to come from being a triggered responder to an emotional planner, because emotional planners don't rely on what other people should do. And as grown women, we have to take hold of what our responsibilities are, even though they are a lot. I get it. We still have things that we need to do for ourselves as well. So, what other people should do really doesn't need to factor in. So, let me get right down to the meat and potatoes. Okay, so in your personal life, one question that you might have is where you should be in your life. Like you can look at other people and say, well, my girlfriend has a house, or, this person is taking all of these vacations because they are up in their career. I should be at the same place. Well, maybe you should or you shouldn't, but that's something that we'll get to in a minute. The next thing is that who you should be with. We have this ideal person that we want to be with. We know what they want, what they do for a living. We know what their physicality should look like. We even have some idea of what type of personality, whether they're a little gruff, whether they're sweet, whether they're kind, a nerd, whatever appeals to you. You have an idea of who that person should be, but who are you for that person? And that's something else that I'm going to talk about, because the should is more so about you than it is about another person. So, another one in your personal life is what you should have. Like, I should have a nice car by now, or I should have whatever it is you want, a Birkin bag, a pair of Louboutins, whatever it is that you feel like you should have amassed in your life right now. You should have had it, but maybe not. And that's all still something that you have to work on, and I'm going to tell you more about that. But why should be eliminated? That didn't make sense. Why you must eliminate the word should from your vocabulary when it pertains to your family is just as important as why it needs to be eliminated when it comes to how you're thinking about yourself and how you see yourself. Because if you think about your family, I know for me, especially when I was a single mom, I felt like that my mom should help me and babysit so I could go out on a date or go have coffee or a drink with my friends. But why did I feel like she should do that? There was no reason. She didn't have to do that, nor should she, but she could if she wanted to, and if I asked her to do it. But I found an alternative I found a 24-hour daycare that I could do what I wanted. So there's a way around it, and there's something that you can do. So, should your family help? Yeah, but they don't have to help just because they're in close proximity because it's your mom. They don't have to help just because they have a great job and they've done well with investments and you see their progress and now you could use a little help. It's not up to them to help you. You know that, right? And this is the one that always gets me on the strength of. I don't do anything on the strength of. There has to be a logical reason for me to do it. So don't expect your family and friends to just give you money just on the strength of. If you need support, there's a way to set it up so that they are support for you, but don't use them as your main resource. Okay, so that's personal and family. And again, this might not apply to every single woman viewing this podcast, but it does hit home in some areas because now we're talking about your professional life. So it doesn't matter whether you are in corporate America and you're at a certain level, whether you are working at a big box department store or whether you're an entrepreneur that's well, I should say someone who's looking to become an entrepreneur and move away from what they've been doing, these things still apply. So the first should that must be eliminated is that they should see how hard I'm working. Corporate America is the last place that you want to put shoulds on because those shoulds don't apply to you favorably. Okay, let's just put it that way. Your expectation shouldn't be, your expectation mustn't be that you believe that someone's watching you come in an hour early, stay an hour late, not take your lunch break, be available after hours for phone calls and to send emails. You think that's really doing something? It's not. And so for you to think that someone should see you and reward you for that, then we have to work on some other things personally with you. Okay, so that's one should in the workplace. The other should is that they should know I'm ready for a promotion. Listen, working in corporate America and getting promotions is all politics. What have you done to make yourself a worthy candidate for a promotion? Look, promotion doesn't just happen because you got time served or you worked on a couple of special projects or you're cool with this certain manager. Behind closed doors, there are a lot of things that determine who's getting that promotion, and most of it doesn't have to do with your work performance. Okay, so whether you think you're working hard to get that promotion, again, that's something that we need to work on, but you mustn't assume that they're looking at you and that they should give you that promotion just on strength of, right, tying the two together. All right, so should must be removed for your conversations because it damages your emotions. Just think about how I started it. You feel like you should have these certain things just because of who you are, or people should do certain things just because of the relationship, or you've known them so long, or they've had success in some type of way. Those shoulds don't matter for anything. The only should that should matter is the should where you're taking the action. So you should take action. Okay. So what does should do so badly? It leaves you stuck. It lets you down because if you are anticipating that someone else is going to do something for you without you even expressing it to them because they should know, then you're going to be disappointed. So the should mindset set, it inspires low self-esteem. How can you ever find yourself as being independent and having self-worth if you never accomplish the big things on your own? If you never go after something that you really wanted to do, and if you've never done it independently without assuming that other people were going to jump in to help. Really. So low self-esteem is inevitable because you haven't proven to yourself that you can accomplish things and do things. And listen, I've been stuck. So I'm not saying that you're hopeless over your whole lifetime. We all have ebbs and flows in success in our lives. And then when we don't have areas of success after having past success, that means that we have to redo something. Something's not working in our favor. That's why contemplation and assessing yourself, self-awareness is so important. It keeps you from being stuck. And I don't want to be stuck, because if I'm stuck, I'm losing time. Okay. So a should mindset also keeps you hopeless because you're depending on somebody else. And listen, I'm not talking about a welfare mentality. And I've come from the hood. I've worked in the hood. I know about living in an urban community. I know about the different dynamics that cause people to operate in a certain way in an urban area. So I know that hopelessness exists. And a lot of the reason why it exists is because there isn't any as much support as there could be, and hopelessness reigns supreme. Because if people are asking agencies and bureaucracies to help them on things that other people go to work and are able to do, and I am not saying that there's something wrong with people needing assistance. I've been on assistance before. So, I mean, people need it for assistance. That's what it is. But when everything that concerns your life, you have to get permission or get help from someone else, you never feel like you can do it yourself. That's where hopelessness comes in. But hopelessness doesn't have to stay. There are many people who have changed their dynamics by first changing their emotions. I'm going to get to that. So, removing should is what we're going to talk about today as the first step to doing this. So, when you have a should mindset, you think poorly about yourself and other people. Have you noticed that people who have a should mindset, now that we're thinking about it and talking about it, they are gossipers? Not only are they looking at what other people should do for them or what they should have or who they should be with, they're also saying what other people should have, should be with, where they should live or what they should be doing. It's none of their concern, first of all. Secondly, they should be focused on what they can do instead of focusing on the lack or what they don't have or what they're not receiving. So if you are looking at your conversations, the conversation you had today, the conversation you had over the weekend, and you find yourself in that should mindset, we need to hurry up and turn that around because it is going to impact your emotions. And remember what my mantra that I always say, your emotions impact your thinking impacts your behavior, and your behavior impacts your environment. So if you're in an environment where all you think about are the shoulds, then you can change it. Okay. So the last thing that a should mindset does, and this might be the most detrimental, it causes you to be desperate or thirsty. Listen, I talk to so many men, and I talk to men. I hear conversations from men, and I have a lot of my life, and you can see that in my book. But men, they might get flattered by an overly aggressive or thirsty woman, but that's not the woman that he wants to marry. Believe me, if you want to be the woman that gets married and that's in a meaningful relationship, let nature take its course. Be chaste for once. Let the guy come after you. Don't be thirsty. In relationships, I think that women, especially because we don't pursue as much as men do, we kind of settle for who comes after us and who wants to get with us, which we don't have to, and I would advise you not to. At the same time, women often are doing things that are out of line with the dating arena. So I always say there's levels. So there's a level where I'm just getting to know you, a level where we're dating, a level where we're monogamous, and then if we get engaged and then married, those are all levels. You don't do everything at every level. Where do you know that they do that at every level? Even in video games, you get more treats and stuff when you get up in, even if Miss Pac-Man, I'm not talking about the new stuff, but even Miss Pac-Man, you get other stuff as you move up in the levels. So it's the same with dating. So if you are in a should mindset, like I should be with this type of person, or I should be going to these places, and you're not the person that's creating the the ability to do those things, then you're willing to do possibly some things that you might not do if you were not in a should mindset. Should mindsets also get people committing crimes because you have not yet done the work to have what it is you want, but you're either going to lie or steal to get it. So we want to change that because that is a poor environment and poor behavior. All right, so I've told you why you shouldn't have should, or what the damage that should is doing to you by keeping that as part of your conversation. Now I'm going to show you what you can do instead. So let's eliminate the focus on others, on what other people, other situations, without you being the lone facilitator. Okay, so let's take the other elements out. Let's focus on you. So for me, instead of saying should, like shoulda, woulda, coulda, instead of saying should, I focus on what I can do. And I love that in the Bible, when God is saying something that he's going to do, it shall. And when it's shall, you know that it's getting done. There's no doubt. A should is a maybe because you don't really know whether that person is inclined or has the desire or even knows that you're expecting them to do something. But if you put a shall there for yourself, then you're making a promise to yourself to do that. So I will, in today's vernacular, we could say will. I will do this. So I don't make a promise to do something unless I think that it's something that I could do, unless I think that there's a plan that I can hatch that will allow me to do it, unless I think that it's information out there that I can learn that enables me to do that. I don't solely depend on the action of somebody else as an obligation or a responsibility for something that I want to do or have or be or go or whatever. Okay. So if you change to will, what it does is, first of all, it's a positive word. Shall and will are positives. They give confidence to the person who's saying it. So if I suddenly start saying, oh, I will do that, even better is that I am doing that. Even while you're in the process, I am doing that, but I will do that. Oh, you have already started changing dynamics from being a triggered responder to an emotional planner because now you've made a plan to manage your emotions. You can do it now because things aren't just going to come at you haphazardly and you have to depend on somebody else. Okay, you can now manage areas of concerns or issues by planning. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to listen. This tip that I'm going to give you at the end is really going to blow your mind. You'll be like, I could have been doing that. Okay. Then you can find out what you want. So, if you ask somebody, so what do you want to do in the next 5 years? Most people don't know. Most people have no clue of what they're going to do beyond the vacation that they've planned for the summer or what they're going to do after the kids go back to school, whatever. They haven't seen themselves that far ahead. In order to be an emotional planner and really get things that you want, you have to lay them out. And first of all, you have to know what it is that you want. I was listening to a tape from a minister today, and he made such a great analogy. Like when you get ready to go to the market, you write a list. And what is the list for? Some people said the list was for so that you won't forget something. And another person said the list was so you could stay in budget. Another person said a grocery list was so that you didn't get things that you didn't want. But the list is so that you can get things that you want. If you never know or have an idea of what you want, then you're never going to have it. You can have all kinds of thoughts. Like I have thoughts that run through my head all the time. I see something that inspires me in this way, or something else inspires me in another way, or somebody else is doing something great. And I'm just like, oh, that's pretty cool. I have all those kind of thoughts, but all of those thoughts might not match with what works for me, number one, but where I am in my life right now and my ability to do it. But if it's something that inspires me, I can write it down and then address it at another time or make a plan to do it. So that's the whole point. You can find out what you want and then you can make a plan to do it. And then right now, the best thing to do is to activate the first letter in the bling concept. And the step that I'm going to tell you is going to show you how to do that. And the first step in the bling concept, which is the B, is to believe. To believe that you're worthy. To believe that you can do things. To believe that your life is one that you can be a contributor to and not just receive whatever is going to come your way. You can actually make choices so that your environment is the environment that you want it to be in. So you are worthy, you can do it, and then you can make the commitment to transition your thinking and your expectations. You have to make this transition. You can't keep the thinking that you've had all along that got you to this spot that you are right now. Even if you're not in a bad spot, but you're somehow stuck or you somehow feel unfulfilled, then we have to change the thinking and expectations. So if you were in a should mindset, then you definitely need to think about what it is that you want so that you can change the trajectory of your environment. And that happens by managing your emotions. So if you're controlling the outcomes or you're controlling what's happening in your life, then you're controlling your emotions. So then you can start thinking about things in a new way. You can get rid of hopelessness and have hope, right? We want those small moments of happiness so we can get to a place of joy. And that's the only way that we can do that, by taking control of our emotions. So emotions to thinking, thinking to behavior, and behavior to environment. And making the commitment to that transition is your first step. Okay. And if really, then that was your personal, right? From changing from should to shall into will. But for your family, you want to be the person that is ready to be in a relationship. You got to be that person. I was talking a couple of episodes back with Nika Owens, and she is a licensed therapy, and she talked to me about the theory of the 90. Like most people have 90% of their past, I hope I'm saying this right, that hasn't been addressed. So, and if you are 35 or older, you have some things that could be addressed by now. I don't think whatever happens in someone's childhood, it can be detrimental, and it could be traumatic. It could also be good. But if there's something that happened that was out of your control when you were a child and you're really not going to get the resolution that you're looking for, you can't own that and deal with it on your own. You have to get help. So even if you talk to a licensed therapist like Nika Owens, or you join some type of group, you have to do something to address the 90, because that 90 translates into other areas of your life. And one of them might be that should mentality. Because of something that happened so long ago, you believe that you are not the person who can take care of certain areas and aspects of your life. Or you're not the person that believes that they have the ability to be in the type of relationship that they want to be in. Or because you haven't addressed certain things from your childhood or from your past or past relationships, You bring that over into new relationships, new job opportunities, and new friendships. And you just do that because that's how you've been doing all along. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to look and say, you know what? I'm not happy right here. And it's up to me to make that change. So, first is addressing that 90 and being that person that helps other people, that gives to other people, even if it's just their time to help someone else, if that's what you're looking for to be reciprocated in your life. Let's see. Be a person, if, oh, that was for family. At work, now, listen, there's nothing wrong with working in corporate America. I've had my dealings with corporate America, and I prefer to work in a different type of setting. Um, at the same time, there are people who really thrive in that environment. There are people who have mastered leadership and they have mastered the art of navigating their way emotionally and in corporate politics wise in their company to find great success. I have a great girlfriend who I've seen her climb. She used to be one of my managers and now she's a bigwig at a national company. And that works for her. Okay. So if you are a person who loves working in corporate America, the job that you're doing right now is where you want to be, and you're just looking for how you're going to get out of the entry level realm or the hourly realm and really move up to the ladder where you can make significant change in your life and the life of your family and really feel a sense of accomplishment, then listen, you have to do some things before the job opportunity presents itself. While you're in the seat that you're in right now, you have to do some things. And one of them is display leadership. So that isn't something that's going to be written on your job description. It's something that you display by how you interact with coworkers, how you respond to leadership, how you communicate overall, and how you take initiative. Okay. So just because you're sitting in your cube and you're doing what's required doesn't mean that you're ready for a promotion or leadership. So you might want to see if there are other things, there are other projects that you can participate in at your company. If there are things that you can learn on your own, YouTube University, taking a course, buying a book, learning some skill that's really going to help you move up the ladder, that's going to be a benefit to the company that you're with. And when you get a chance for feedback or one-on-one, share with your supervisor what you're doing. So that kind of took me off script, but I'm glad I was able to share that. So, but be a person who's ready for more responsibility and leadership. And that same manager that I had that I said climbed up way high on the corporate ladder, the thing that she told me is that leadership is about your ability to share with other people. Don't play the crabs in the barrel. Share the information if it's going to help. Someone is watching. Someone is watching, but not necessarily in the way that you think. But do what you have to do with integrity to really own the ability to climb up the ladder. Okay. Then you control your emotions by looking to yourself to solve the issues. Ooh, finally, this seemed like it was a whole bunch for me to say, but yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. Move, should, get out the way. Get should out the way. Okay, so here's what I've been promising you. I've been promising you one step that's going to help with your transformation from being a triggered responder to an emotional planner, since you are removing the word should from your vocabulary forever. And here's the action that you can do immediately. All right, so self-awareness is the first step in the bling concept. Okay, so in order to be self-aware, I think you need to know what it is that you want. How is it that you're going to work towards something if you have no clue of what you're working toward? And I take for granted sometimes, because I'm a thinker that way, and I spend time thinking and taking notes and writing down what my thoughts are. I can't assume that everybody does that. So that's why I know from the people that I've coached and the people that I've worked with and the students in the classroom, people don't think this way. So here's what you're going to do. Oh, I have so many notebooks I could show you. Anyway, get a notebook, even if it's from the dollar store, get a notebook and write down everything you want out of life, from the smallest to the largest. Now, this list could be a list of 100 things, it could be a list of 20 things. I'll tell you what I've done. I've done vision lists. So I've done one that happens immediately, which is, well, an overall list. And then I've done lists that breaks down into 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 5 years. So I might want see myself in different places over this course of 5 years. But the list that I have that I want overall, I look at that every day. I actually have it as a video on my iPhone. And, this is in the book. I break down how you can do this. But I've written a list. And when I tell you, once you write the list, you can see it clear, then you find opportunities to take action. So let me just read what I wrote down, because I made some really important points here. So write a list of all of the important dates, tasks, or issues you're facing over the next 60 to 90 days. So the other thing that I do is that I write down all of my bills, all of my important dates and things in my phone's calendar with an alarm. Now, if you don't already do that, you can get a regular paper calendar, but you need to start recording stuff. You got to get it out of your head. There's too much going on in our lives for us to remember all of these things. And part of the stress and part of the reason why people are looking for help from other places is because they haven't managed their time and these concerns in the right way. All right, so you do that. So you're going to write down from 60 to 90 days all things that you need to do. Now, this is separate from the list of the things that you want. That's one thing, just to make you aware so you have something to achieve. But this list is to keep you from being a should-minded person. So if it's a bill due, you're going to write the amount due. If it's a task that needs to be performed, you're going to say what that task is. Or you might have to reach out to someone else, contact somebody, maybe it's a doctor, and you need to schedule this appointment, or maybe you need to follow up with someone you've interviewed with, or someone you met with for coffee, and you need to send a thank you note. Whatever it is, you're going to have it on that list, and then you're going to commit, right? This is for you. This is for you only. You're promising yourself. You're going to commit to your shall do list, right? Your shall do list and your independence by doing at least 3 to 4 of those actions per week. And you'll be surprised how much you can get done, how much stress you'll be relieving, and how much you can manage your emotions by taking control of the things that actually belong to you. Phew. That should thing was really on me, because I had heard it a couple of times this week in conversation, and it really started gnawing at me. And I'm glad that I was able to get it off my chest and share it with you. And I hope that you gain something from it. All right. So that's the Brains and Baubles episode live for tonight. Again, I'm Davina Dandridge. I'm here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And I'm sharing with you the ways that you can navigate the roller coaster of life, harness your emotions so you can be the person who can do that thing that you've always wanted to do. And the first thing that it starts with is removing should. They're out of here. I'm out of here.